I started by asking him whether he endorsed UK military involvement in Syria or if he had concerns.
I do not endorse it, and I am concerned about it. There are two things here, separate but both utterly vital. The first is the extent to which it is right for there to be UK military personnel active in Syria when the House of Commons explicitly voted against intervention in Syria. That appears to me at first sight to be a breach of democracy, of parliamentary procedure, and therefore a betrayal of the British people. And for David Cameron to have sanctioned that, if it is as it appears, that is quite wrong, and he will need to answer to the House and to the British people.
Let me ask you about some of your personal views now. You are said to have said that abortion is wrong. Society has to climb down from the position that says there's nothing morally objectionable about abortion before a certain time. If abortion is wrong, it is wrong at any time. Did you say that?
So yeah, I think that was in the context of a discussion about whether abortion law as it was should remain the same or change. And the context was that I was saying the law should remain the same.
OK, but personally, as a Christian, you believe abortion is morally wrong, do you?
Well, I've always said every abortion constitutes a tragedy, but that does not mean that I personally think I have any right under law to intervene with the restrictions as things are. The law to me, and I'm always guided by the science and the medical evidence on this, the law to me looks about right.
OK, on another vote that I think you have slightly different political and personal views on, you've abstained during votes on same-sex marriage in the past. You've said recently that politically you regret that. Personally, though, do you think, as a Christian, that homosexual sex is a sin?
Well, I think that, first of all, I mean, somebody who is a Christian does not then go enforcing their views on other people. And it's not our issues, our views on personal morality that matter. What matters is, do we go out there and fight for the freedom of every single individual to be who they wish to be?
OK, I take your point, but
that's what makes a liberal.
OK, but I'm asking for your personal view. Do you personally, as a Christian, believe that homosexual sex is a sin?
To understand Christianity is to understand that we are all sinners, and perhaps the Bible phrase that I use most, particularly with my kids, but actually on myself, is you don't pick out the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye when there is a plank in your own. The reality is, to understand the Bible, and perhaps another time you want a long theological discussion, my understanding is that, well, my firm belief is that we are all sinners.
OK, but when the Bible says you shall not lie with a male as one lies with a female, it is an abomination, you don't have any problem with that?
Well, look, I mean, so fundamentally, my faith is based upon my belief that Jesus Christ is who he said he is. But again, Kathy, you know, this is a very interesting discussion. It's important to me, but I've not just been...
But it's important to your party as well, because these are values that I appreciate are your personal values, but they're not very liberal values, are they?
This is the party that is based upon religious tolerance, and indeed the tolerance of people who are not religious at all, and defending the rights of every individual, whether they be a member of a minority or not. It's a peculiar thing to say that somebody who happens to belong to a religious group who's a Christian can't be a liberal. It's exactly the opposite. To be a member of a minority group of any kind is to understand in a very clear way why it is that every minority, every individual's rights matter.
But you personally are clear that homosexual sex is a sin.
So I've just answered you saying that every single person is a sinner, and every single person has the offer of redemption as well. For what it's worth, this is absolutely not an interview for me to be the Archbishop of Canterbury. I have become the leader of the Liberal Democrats. I have not become the leader of any particular religious movement, whatever we might look like sometimes.